Hey there, I'm really excited to go through my Nuclear Effect book breakdown and just kind of give you a little bit of the scenes, behind the scenes of what's worked, what hasn't, and just so that you understand if you're going to do your own book, what's worked, what hasn't worked. Just to give you a preface on this, this book, as of this recording, sold about 40,000 copies. Probably about 15,000-ish in actual paperback or hardcover, the rest in digital and audio and so on. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that, to be completely honest with you, especially because the book is so niche, right? When a book is niche, it's just so much more difficult to sell copies. While a niche book drives sales, a broad book drives engagement and virality, right? And so, of course, you always want to kind of be thinking about which one works. And so, just to kind of show you the breakdown of this book, the book is, you go here, of course we have this pop-up, which we're going to come back to later. When we go down here, we have a pop-up on the sales page, okay? Actually, I'll just share this with you right now, the pop-up on the sales page, which is basically if somebody doesn't have their credit card and they're going through or they want to do it later, 9% of the people that go onto the website fill this in. Okay, so it's really lifted up the amount of people that actually come onto the email list and that we can sell to later, okay? So we're just gonna go here. So you go to here, this is the sales page, right? So the sales page is really based on a lot of social proof, right? Because I had a lot of social proof for this book. And then a lot less of it is about the actual content itself. Now, this has brought the book to where it is right now. I'm also about to test a B split where it's more story driven, about my story, about the actual book, what's inside of the book, and so on. But this is done well up to this point. So then after you go here, you click and you go to this page, okay, and then you fill in the information. Now the reason I did this and not when it didn't go to directly to a sales page is because we're collecting so many email addresses. So if I'm running ads, I'm getting email addresses that I can remarket to, that I can go back to, especially right now with iOS changes as well. Getting as many email addresses for retargeting is really effective. And then of course from there, they go here, okay, and now I got all the links so you can take a look. And so, they fill in their information. And that's essentially the way the book goes. There's these upsells, and from the upsells they go here for a $47 upsell, then they go here for my 7-day cash campaign, and then they go here for a $7 upsell with a $97 on the back end. And this is what's worked the best, right? So I've tried a lot of different, so I know I'm going through a lot here. So the order page really kept it simple in terms of this actual purchase page. I've tried a lot of things. This one is actually the one that's worked the best. Making it so that it's a digital copy and they add extra for the physical book, it's worked the best. We get about 30-40% of people click this one, and we get about 40-50% that actually buy the upsell right there. Then once we go into here, I've tested a lot of different variations. This lower than $50 seems to have gotten the highest number of conversions for us. And then of course we got about 10-15% of people doing the trial, which really has added our monthly recurring revenue at $97, 30 days after. Okay, so I've given you the links. You can look at what I've done there. But that is how all of this works, okay? Now, the $5.90 that I charge, or $7. I've tried $5.90. Right now I'm testing $5.90 and $7 are pretty much the same, it seems. They are pretty consistently, like in terms of the amount of money I spend, I'm looking at anywhere from $40 to $80 for a book purchase, which obviously sounds like a lot of money for the fact that it's $5.90. Keep in mind my niche. Also keep in mind that if you end up adding all this together, I'm at about 0.8 ROAS. So I'm losing about 20% on the front end. That does not include the $97 a month, nor anything in the back end. And of course, my strategy is if I can spend at anything better than a 0.6 ROAS, if I'm spending 100 grand a month, I'm cool losing 20 grand, overall. All right, so that's all of those pages, and that's how all of that works. Now, in terms of, let me just go back here. So then we have email sequences. So the email sequences you need, and I'll of course have the links here so you can take a look at these. So email when someone purchases, okay? An email sequence for someone submits but doesn't purchase. right? A follow-up sequence for those people for the next thing, right? You know, purchase. And so the way that ours work is everything goes to Modern Business Academy now. In the past, it's gone to different, you know, lower end products, and then a transition or nurture sequence to go to the actual email list. With, hey, you're going to get emails. Okay. So my recommendation here is about a dozen emails here, about 6 emails here, about another dozen emails here, 3 emails here. Okay. And in terms of what you put in there, kind of think about it this way, which is like the email sequence for purchase. You're trying to get them to read the book. You're trying to get them to read the book. You're trying to get them into a Facebook community if you do that, which I'll talk about in a second. From there, okay? Now, ads for cold. Ads for cold, okay? This ad has worked the best, as you can see from the social proof, okay? I've linked it for you. This ad has also worked well. I've tried a lot of different ads. This ad has also worked pretty well. I will, you know, so I've included some of the links for those. For warm, it's those with just friendlier. Kind of think about it this way. If you're doing cold, it needs to be more story driven. It needs to be, you know, a little bit more about what it actually is. If you're going to warm, you can basically be like, hey, I have a book now. And that's what's really kind of worked overall. Omnipresence retargeting. I'm also going to get you the links for these. I basically just put these, you know, about 10, 15 ads that, you know, just go through some of the content. And obviously some of these honestly need some updating. And so blog articles, videos. My recommendation is if they're on the book page, okay? So if they've gone on the book page, to retarget them with 20 to 30 pieces of content. All right, so 20 to 30 pieces of content, okay, that are about the book. Warm ads, I do 5 to 10 ads. Cold ads, I do 3 to 5 ads with revisions, okay? Now, so that's, we already went through the pop-up. So that's fine. Amazon placement, highly recommend the Amazon placement. We've sold well over 10K books on Amazon alone. Amazon advertising, we're at about, we put $1 in, we get, we're basically at half. So we're at 0.5 ROAS. But the difference with Amazon advertising is you're getting the money back from the actual book, and you're getting customers that you wouldn't get from Facebook. Okay, so I'm fine doing this. I've spent about 200 grand on Amazon advertising. I've got and essentially gotten you know, 100 grand back from the actual book sales, and you know, and I'm cool losing that other 100 grand in my case. Obviously, everything I'm doing here at scale. Facebook group for the book. On the thank you page when you buy the book, I give you access to the actual book, and then the Facebook group that has grown my Facebook group very, very well. Increased the engagement, and obviously increased, you know, customer flow. Book shipment, fulfillment. If you need someone to do this, ship Zoom. You send the books to them, and they basically charge you a fee every single time they send it out. It automatically integrates with Samcart and Zapier, so I don't have to do anything, and then they just bill me on a monthly basis. And then finally, a book launch sequence. Listen, you know, there's so many things that I could do on a book launch sequence. It really depends on where you are in your business, how big of an audience you have, all these things. My recommendation, you know, when I did my launch, I only sold a couple thousand books. Okay, so it was the evergreen that has built everything for me. Okay, so, you know, evergreen is always going to work better here. But this is basically everything that you need. I'll put in some missing links afterwards, but that's all you need to get the book going. And then you just test. I mean, I've tested, you know, 10 different versions of the landing of the sales page, 5 different versions of the actual sales page itself, a bunch of different upsells and downsells, and so on and so forth. And this is what's worked the best. It got me the highest return. And of course, still working on making this even better. All right, hopefully this is helpful. I'll talk to you soon.